1972. The CIA gets a tip. It triggers one of the strangest intelligence programs of the Cold War. The Soviet Union spends 60 to 500 million rubles every year on military parapsychology. 5 years later. September 10, 1977. Journalist Barbara Honegger publishes a DIA official assessment in * Signal Star. It's cited in the Congressional Record. The Soviets hold a 25-year lead over the United States in psychokinesis research. This wasn't science fiction. The psychic arms race didn't start in 1972. It reaches back to the earliest days of the Soviet Union. 1921. Vladimir Bekhterev, neurophysiologist. He founds the Petrograd Brain Research Institute. It's the first official government-run psi program in world history. 1932. His colleague Leonid Vasilev publishes * experiments in remote suggestion. The CIA translates and studies the book starting in 1959. 1967. The Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, produces document ST-CS01-169-72. 185 pages. Declassified in 1972. It evaluates Soviet and Czechoslovak research into telekinesis and telepathy. 1968. Soviet citizen Nina Kulagina is filmed in Leningrad. She moves objects in a controlled laboratory. Multiple Western scientists present confirm the observation. By the 1970s, the two superpowers spy on each other non-stop. Each wants to know who will master the psychic weapon first. The official story, pushed by intelligence agencies and media from the 1970s through the 1990s, is straightforward. The CIA funded the SRI program, then Stargate, in 1972. It was a rational defensive precaution. Reliable intelligence reports proved the Soviets held a lead in military parapsychology. Nina Kulagina's films were treated as serious intelligence data to evaluate. The 1973 publication of Uri Geller's tests in * Nature * was an independent editorial decision. It went through peer review. 1983. Senator Claiborne Pell justifies a $500,000 research vote. He cites a psi vulnerability window against Soviet psychic weapons. Finally, in 2022, the DIA framed Havana Syndrome as an emerging threat tied to modern surveillance technologies. The government claims the 1972 SRI funding was rational and defensive. But DIA document ST-CS01-169-72 reveals the Soviet budget estimate ranged from 60 to 500 million rubles per year. An eightfold gap. No one actually knew what the Soviet Union was doing. Fear of the unknown was the real driver. Senator Claiborne Pell justifies his 1983 $500,000 vote with a psi vulnerability window. But official internal DIA reports from the same period, declassified years later, conclude the Soviet Union never developed any operational psychic weapons. That vulnerability was a rhetorical trick to keep funding flowing. The CIA claims the 1973 * Nature * publication of Uri Geller's tests was independent. But SRI archives show the study was directly funded by the CIA via a classified contract. The world's most respected scientific journal unknowingly published results from a spy program. Here's what no one explained. DIA report ST-CS01-169-72, 1967, declassified 1972, 185 pages stored in the CIA FOIA reading room. The document lists 12 Soviet institutes researching telepathy and telekinesis as early as the 1960s. 1978. CIA report RDP 96-00788R0017002100016-5, Declassified 2000. The document puts that number at 20. They were overseen by the GKNT, the State Committee for Science, and the Institute for Research on Biophysical Problems. Nina Kulagina's 1968 Leningrad films. Stored in Soviet archives, then analyzed by the DIA in 1969. They show the Soviet citizen moving matches and compass needles in a double-blind laboratory. 3 Western scientists present, including UCL physicist John Haste, confirm the observation in a 1971 report. The 1994 SAIC final report. $26 million spent over 9 years. 3,000 experiments led by Edwin May. The document concludes there is a robust, replicable effect of anomalous perception. But it adds no protocol-produced reliable operational results. Partially declassified CIA interview transcripts, 1991 to 1994, with 7 Russian scientists who worked on military psi programs. The documents confirm the Soviet Union never got usable results either. Declassified documents from both sides reveal the truth. The psychic arms race was a race of mutual fear, not scientific discovery. Timoinage? According to Russian physicist Dr. Vladimir Zubkov, interviewed by the CIA in 1992, transcript declassified 2001, Nina Kulagina's demonstrations were partially faked to impress politicians and secure funding. Serious experiments never produced replicable results. CIA archives show as early as 1975, the DIA internally concluded the Soviet Union had no operational psi weapons. But that report was classified. Meanwhile, the exaggerated budget estimates, 500 million rubles per year, were sent to Congress to justify Stargate's funding. 1994. The CIA funded 2 conflicting reports at the same time. The SAIC report, which found a real effect, and an external evaluation commission from the Institute for Defense Analyses, the IDA. It was designed to prove the program had no operational use. The decision to shut down Stargate was made before either report went public. 2023. The official journal of the Chinese Academy of Sciences publishes research on the psychic bioenergy. The research comes from 5 universities in Beijing and Shanghai. The protocols are identical to the Soviet psi programs of the 1970s. The 2022 DIA Annual Report to Congress on Abnormal Health Incidents, Havana Syndrome, mentions the possibility of microwave weapons. That technology was studied by the Soviet Union in its 1973 psychotronics programs. The CIA analyzed it in Report RDP 96-00788R0017002100016-5. No official from American or Soviet psi programs has ever been questioned. They spent billions of public dollars with 0 operational results. Research into the neuropsychological effects of directed energy weapons continues. The DIA and CIA still fund it in 2024. For 70 years, 2 superpowers spent over $1.5 billion total on military psi programs. They were driven solely by mutual fear, not by solid, replicable scientific results. Today, the same logic persists. China openly invests in psychic bioenergy. The DIA studies microwave weapons whose basic research traces back to Cold War Soviet psychotronics programs. One question remains unanswered. Can we ever tell legitimate scientific research apart from institutional paranoia disguised as national precaution? Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.